Hello and welcome to another Tuesday Talk with the Polaris Orchestra. My name is Samantha Brown and I'm a flutist with Polaris. Maybe you've tuned into our Tuesday Talks before, or maybe this is your first time checking us out. Either way, we want to extend a great big welcome to all of you and thank you for coming onto our page. These videos are basically our opportunity to invite you into our homes, and we're excited to share with you the human side of all of us as musicians, performers, collaborators, directors, whatever our titles might be within the orchestra. We're also so excited to share with you our honest ideas, our goals, and our opinions, and certainly share with you our passion for the Polaris Orchestra and why this project means so much to all of us. Today I'll be talking to you a little bit about my journey in music, and specifically being a woman in music and representation and what that has meant for me in my development. I consider myself extremely lucky because looking back at my upbringing and my sort of development as a musician from the beginning until now, I can remember all of these instances of seeing myself represented in whatever ensemble or group or media I was consuming. And I know this was hugely influential for my experience as a musician, and I know this is also not necessarily the norm for a lot of people. Many people, don't see themselves represented, and because this has been so hugely influential for me, that's why I want to share it with you, and that's what really fuels my passion for Polaris and creating as much representation as possible within the arts. So thinking back to as I was, a young kid, a lot of times people will ask musicians, what was, the moment you knew you wanted to do music, or what was the moment that made you a musician? And many musicians have great stories of that one iconic moment. And many other musicians, I consider myself among this group, it feels more like a trail of breadcrumbs you didn't know was there until you look back and sort of reflect on those experiences. One of those breadcrumb moments for me was being a young kid, probably early elementary school. And I remember my dad loading all three of us kids up in the car, driving us up the road, and we attended one of the Friday night football games at the high school in our district. I was a young kid. I don't think I understood anything about how football worked at the time, but it was cold out and I was bundled up and had a thermos of hot chocolate, so I was good to go. So I couldn't tell you anything about the actual game that happened, but what really sticks out even in my memory now is watching the marching band take the field, and specifically watching the drum major go up onto the podium. I had no clue what conducting was as a kid. I didn't really know much about marching band, but I watched her get onto that podium, physically a level above the entire band where all of us could see her in the stands. And I watched her move her arms without the understanding of what conducting was, but with this core realization that something significant was happening, that she was facilitating with the musicians on the field. I had no clue what it was, but I thought that is so cool, and I want to do whatever that is. Now, if I was a conductor, this would be an amazing story of when I became a conductor, but I'm not. That was just one moment where I really was captivated by the energy of what was going on. And wouldn't you know it, some years later, when I was a senior in high school, I became drum major of that same marching band. Certainly because I had that formative experience where I saw someone like me up on the podium and thought, not only is that cool and not only do I want to do that, but I know I can do that because I'm looking at someone who looks like me doing the same thing. Later on, or around the same time actually. I was so lucky to have both of my paternal grandparents who were so into the arts and into musical theater, and really helped foster that among me as a kid. They were the type of people who had season tickets to the Fisher Theater in downtown Detroit, if you are at all familiar with that. And so they saw musicals often. And I was very, very fortunate enough that they would occasionally get tickets for us kids, and we'd be able to go to downtown with them and make a whole experience out of seeing these productions. So I had seen, several musical theater productions as a kid, and each of them sort of sticks out in their own way for me. But I think that whole culture and experience, of course, musical theater, there's many female roles up on the stage. So seeing people like me on the stage, even though I wasn't a vocalist by any means, and I'm still not a vocalist, I had this drawn connection of, I could go home and sing some of the songs because they fit my voice type, and I could act like they were because I can see myself in them. Another key experience of musical theater for me was seeing actually the Lion King stage production as a kid, and that was sort of one of my first experiences of the recognition, not just that there's vocalists up on stage and then there's instrumental music happening, but that there's people there making the instrumental music. And something about that production, I really, really keyed into the instrumental music that was happening, and I thought, whoa, this is big. I want to be a part of making that music, and sharing that with other people in that way. It's funny for me to think about now because the flute book for The Lion King uses all types of different flutes, none of which I have ever played except for, the standard C Western music flute, and of course piccolo and some other things in the flute family, but that's a book I could still never play because that's just not in my wheelhouse. But that experience was so crucial of hearing something like that and knowing that I could be a part of it. Really, at the end of the day, all these little breadcrumb moments for me I could go on and on about, but to me it's this recognition looking back that I have had these moments of seeing, a woman on stage singing, and I could go home and sing those songs. Or as a flutist, I've been so fortunate to study with mostly female teachers, which is something that I never even really realized until the past couple of years. I'm actually studying with a man for the first time now, and that's Dr. Bailey at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln. And it's been almost beyond words to be able to see people like me doing the things that I want to do, and I can't imagine not having that experience. It's been so, like, a world is always open to me that I see these opportunities and am able to instantly connect with my teachers, or maybe, performers that we're watching, and just see myself inside of them. And that's hugely important to me. At the end of the day, all of us here at Polaris, we were the kids seeing ourselves on the stage, trying to figure out how to make that happen. Or we were the kids who didn't see ourselves on the stage, and we're trying to create that experience for other kids, and of course, kids of any age. But creating that sense of all of us belonging to this orchestra, and this orchestra being deeply, deeply human, and diverse in thoughts, in appearances, in upbringings, and all of those things. Thank you so much for tuning in and letting me share a little bit about my experience with you. Please check out all of our social media and our website. If you go to polarisorg.org, that's POLARIS orch.org. That's our website, and you can get a good idea of all the things we're working on. You can also check us out on Instagram at PolarisOrc, spelled the same way as our website. Facebook, our name is Polaris Orchestra, or YouTube is also Polaris Orchestra, and we're posting Tuesday and Friday videos. Tuesdays are our Tuesday Talks, Fridays are our artistic series, and we would love to see you around again. Feel free to comment your experiences, whether this resonated with you or this is, so antithetical to what your experience has been. We would love to get in contact with you and discuss all about these experiences. Thank you.
If you would like to help the Polaris Orchestra continue on our journey, please visit our website at polarisorch.org. That's POLARISORCH.org. Please hit that donate button and give as your heart desires. No donation is too small, for every dollar counts. Please also take the time to visit and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Facebook page, and Instagram page. We will be posting weekly throughout the remainder of the year on Tuesdays and Fridays. We thank you so much for listening. We thank you for supporting us, and we look forward to sharing more of our lives and our music with you.